Have you ever noticed that the moment you stop reacting, people begin to lose their power over you? The greatest strength is not found in shouting louder, proving yourself, or winning every argument. It is found in something much quieter, something so powerful that most people completely overlook it. Ignoring. Not because you are weak. Not because you don't care. But because you have finally realized that your peace is more valuable than someone else's opinion. Today, you'll discover why the strongest people aren't the loudest, they're the ones who know exactly what deserves their attention, and what deserves absolutely nothing. Before we begin, tell me in the comments, what is one thing you are choosing to ignore from today forward? I'd love to read your thoughts. And if you're ready to master your emotions and build unshakable inner strength, subscribe to Stoic Ascension, because every video is designed to help you become calmer, wiser, and mentally stronger. Now, imagine carrying a bucket filled with clean water. Every person you argue with throws a handful of dirt into it. Some criticize you. Some insult you. Some doubt your dreams. Some laugh at your failures. Every reaction is another handful of mud. Soon, the water becomes so cloudy that you can no longer see your own reflection. That is exactly what happens to the mind. The Stoics understood something that modern life keeps trying to make us forget. Attention is your most valuable possession. Whatever receives your attention begins to control your emotions. If someone can make you angry with a few careless words, they are controlling your peace. If one rude comment ruins your day, they have stolen hours of your life. Ignoring isn't pretending something doesn't exist. Ignoring is making a conscious decision that certain things are simply not worth renting space inside your mind. There is an old story about a traveler walking through a village. As he passed by, a man began insulting him. The insults continued for several minutes. The traveler never stopped walking. Confused, another villager ran after him and asked, "Didn't you hear what he was saying?" The traveler smiled. "I heard every word." "Then why didn't you answer?" He replied, "If someone offers you a gift and you refuse to accept it, who does the gift belong to? The person offering it." Exactly. The insults remained with the man who spoke them. The traveler kept his peace. This is the first lesson. Not every invitation deserves acceptance. Especially invitations to anger. People often believe strength means having the perfect comeback. The Stoics believed strength meant not needing one. Think about how much energy is wasted every single day trying to convince people who have already decided not to understand us. Some arguments have no finish line. Some people don't want truth. They want conflict. Every response you give becomes fuel for another attack. Ignoring is not surrender. It is refusing to feed a fire that was never yours to keep alive. One afternoon, a young student visited his teacher carrying obvious frustration. "They keep talking about me. They criticize everything I do. No matter how hard I work, someone always finds a reason to complain." The teacher handed him a heavy backpack filled with stones. "Carry this around the village." After only an hour, the student returned exhausted. "It is too heavy." The teacher quietly removed several stones. "How does it feel now?" "Much lighter." The teacher smiled. The criticism was never the backpack. Your decision to carry every opinion was. Many of us spend years carrying emotional stones that were never ours. A stranger's opinion. An old insult. A family member's expectations. A coworker's jealousy. A friend's betrayal. The weight grows until life itself feels exhausting. Ignoring is setting the backpack down. Not because life became easier. Because you became wiser. One of the hardest truths to accept is this. You cannot control what people say. You cannot control what they think. You cannot control whether they like you. The only thing completely within your control is your response. That single choice determines whether you become their prisoner or remain free. Think of the ocean. Waves crash against the rocks every single day. The rocks never chase the waves. They never argue. They never demand respect. They simply remain. That quiet stability is true power. The Stoics admired nature because nature never struggles to prove itself. The sun never argues with the clouds. The mountain never defends itself against the wind. The tree doesn't become angry because birds leave its branches. Everything simply fulfills its purpose. Perhaps our greatest suffering comes from forgetting ours. Social media has made ignoring feel almost impossible. Every notification competes for attention. Every comment demands a reaction. Every disagreement feels like a battle that must be won. But ask yourself something. How many of those conversations will matter 1 year from now? Most won't matter next week. Yet people lose sleep over words typed by strangers they'll never meet. That is the cost of misplaced attention. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself repeatedly that other people's actions belong to them. Your actions belong to you. When someone chooses disrespect, they reveal their character. When you choose calmness, you reveal yours. There was once an old gardener known throughout his town for his peaceful nature. Children sometimes mocked him. Neighbors occasionally laughed at his worn clothes. Travelers questioned why he never defended himself. One day someone finally asked him directly, "Why do you never answer the people who insult you?" The old man continued watering his flowers before speaking. "If I stop caring for my garden every time someone throws weeds over the fence, eventually I won't have a garden." He looked at the blooming flowers. "My job isn't to manage weeds. My job is to grow flowers." How beautiful that lesson is. Most people spend their lives studying weeds. The Stoic studies the garden. Every minute spent feeding anger is a minute stolen from becoming wiser. Every unnecessary argument delays your own growth. Imagine how much stronger your life could become if every ounce of energy spent proving yourself were invested in improving yourself instead. That is the hidden power of ignoring. It doesn't just protect your peace. It multiplies your progress. Because while others waste time arguing, you are learning. While others seek revenge, you are becoming stronger. While others obsess over opinions, you are building a life that speaks louder than words. And eventually, something remarkable happens. The same people who once laughed begin wondering why nothing seems to shake you anymore. They expected reactions. Instead, they found silence. Not empty silence. Confident silence. The kind of silence that only comes from someone who has discovered that peace is more valuable than victory. That is when ignoring becomes more than a habit. It becomes freedom. There comes a moment in every person's life when they realize that not every battle deserves to be fought. Until that moment, life feels like an endless competition. Every insult demands an answer. Every disagreement feels personal. Every criticism seems like a challenge to your worth. But then something changes. You begin to understand that your greatest victories are often the ones no one ever sees. The Stoics believe that the strongest person is not the one who defeats others, but the one who has learned to defeat the urge to react. That lesson sounds simple. Living it is another story. Imagine a blacksmith standing in front of a blazing fire. Each strike of the hammer shapes the metal into something stronger. Now imagine another piece of metal that refuses the fire. It remains unchanged, weak, and easily broken. Life works in much the same way. Every insult, disappointment, betrayal, and misunderstanding is another strike of the hammer. You can allow it to shape your character, or you can let it shatter your peace. The choice has always been yours. There was once a young merchant who had built a successful business. As his success grew, so did the number of people who criticized him. Some said he had become arrogant. Others claimed he didn't deserve his success. Rumors spread through the town until almost everyone had an opinion. At first, the merchant tried to defend himself. He explained, He argued. He corrected every false story. But the rumors only grew. One evening he visited an elderly philosopher and asked, "How do I make them stop talking?" The philosopher smiled gently. "You don't." The merchant looked confused. "You cannot stop birds from flying over your house," the philosopher continued, "but you can stop them from building nests on your roof." The merchant finally understood. People would always speak. But he didn't have to let their words settle inside his mind. From that day forward, he stopped chasing every rumor. Instead, he focused on serving his customers with honesty and excellence. Months later, something surprising happened. The rumors faded on their own. His character had answered every accusation far better than his words ever could. That is the quiet power of consistency. Many people speak loudly. Very few live so well that their actions become undeniable. Your life should become your response. Not your arguments. Not your explanations. Not your anger. Your life. One of the greatest traps in modern life is believing that everyone deserves access to your emotions. They don't. Your peace is valuable. Your attention is valuable. Your time is valuable. Why hand these priceless treasures to people who have done nothing to earn them? Imagine owning a beautiful house. Would you allow every stranger to walk inside, rearrange your furniture, and leave mud across your floors? Of course not. Yet many people allow strangers to do exactly that inside their minds. One negative comment. One rude message. One unfair opinion. Suddenly their entire day is ruined. The Stoics would ask a simple question. Who gave this person permission to control your emotions? Most of the time, the answer is painful. You did. Without realizing it. Every reaction signs another permission slip. Ignoring is taking that permission back. It is saying, my peace is not available for everyone to disturb. That doesn't mean becoming cold. It means becoming wise. Kindness and boundaries can exist together. Compassion and self-respect can walk side by side. The Stoic never ignored what truly mattered. They ignored distractions so they could focus on what mattered most. Think of an archer preparing to shoot an arrow. His eyes remain fixed on the target. People may shout from behind him. The wind may blow. Birds may fly overhead. None of it matters. If he looks away every few seconds, he will miss the target completely. Life demands the same focus. Your dreams are the target. Your purpose is the target. Your character is the target. Everything else is noise. And noise only becomes powerful when you stop aiming. There is a story of an old fisherman who returned to the shore every evening with a smile. Another fisherman noticed that people often mocked him because his boat was old and his clothes were worn. Curious, he asked, why don't their words bother you? The old fisherman laughed softly. When I go fishing, I only keep the fish worth eating. What do you do with the others? I throw them back. The younger fisherman nodded. The old man continued. I do the same with words. What is useful, I keep. What is useless, I throw back into the sea. How different our lives would become if we practiced the same habit. Not every opinion deserves to be remembered. Not every criticism deserves to be believed. Not every insult deserves a home inside your heart. Keep the lessons. Release the poison. That is wisdom. One of the most misunderstood forms of strength is silence. Many assume silence means fear. The Stoics saw it differently. Silence is often the language of confidence. A lion does not announce its strength before every hunt. The mountain does not remind the valley of its height. The sun does not argue with the darkness. It simply rises. When you know who you are, you stop feeling the need to explain yourself to everyone. That freedom changes everything. People may misunderstand you. Let them. People may underestimate you. Let them. People may judge your decisions without knowing your journey. Let them. Your responsibility is not to control their thoughts. Your responsibility is to live according to your values. The more you chase approval, the further peace slips away. But the moment you stop chasing it, something remarkable happens. You begin to discover yourself. Not the version built by other people's expectations. The real you. The one guided by discipline instead of applause. By purpose instead of popularity. By inner peace instead of constant validation. And once you experience that freedom, you'll wonder why you ever wasted so much energy trying to convince people who had already chosen not to understand you. Because true power has never been found in having the last word. True power is having the last laugh, not through revenge, but through a life well lived. The greatest response to disrespect is becoming someone so focused on growth that distractions no longer have the power to slow you down. Your silence becomes your shield. Your discipline becomes your weapon. Your peace becomes your victory. Perhaps the greatest lesson Stoicism offers is this. Life is too short to give your energy to everything that demands it. Every morning, the world will ask for your attention. Some people will want your anger. Others will want your approval. Some will try to pull you into arguments that have no purpose. Others will criticize choices they never had the courage to make themselves. If you answer every voice, you will never hear your own. The Stoics understood that a peaceful mind is not something you discover. It is something you protect. Just as a gardener removes weeds before they overtake the flowers, you must remove unnecessary distractions before they overtake your life. That means ignoring gossip. Ignoring pointless arguments. Ignoring comparisons. Ignoring insults from people who do not know your heart. Ignoring the temptation to prove yourself to those who have already made up their minds. Every time you do, you make room for something better. More wisdom. More patience. More gratitude. More purpose. There is an old story about a sculptor creating a magnificent statue from a giant block of marble. A young boy watched him for days. Finally, the boy asked, "How did you know the statue was inside the stone?" The sculptor smiled. "I didn't create it. I simply removed everything that didn't belong." The same is true for your character. You don't become stronger by adding more noise to your life. You become stronger by removing what weakens you. Every unnecessary reaction. Every pointless argument. Every grudge. Every fear of other people's opinions. Chip them away. What remains is the person you were always meant to become. Strong. Calm. Focused. Unshakable. That doesn't mean life will suddenly become easy. People will still disappoint you. Plans will still fail. Some days will still test your patience. But your peace will no longer depend on circumstances. It will depend on your character. And character is something no one can take from you without your permission. Imagine standing in the middle of a violent storm. The wind howls. Rain crashes down. Trees bend under the force. Yet deep beneath the surface of the ocean, everything remains calm. The Stoic chooses to live like those deep waters. The surface may be disturbed. But the depths remain peaceful. That kind of peace cannot be bought. It cannot be given by other people. And it cannot be taken away by their opinions. It is earned through discipline. Through self-control. Through choosing your responses instead of reacting to every emotion. Remember this whenever someone tries to provoke you. Their words reveal their character. Your response reveals yours. Do not trade your peace for a temporary victory. Do not sacrifice your future for a moment of revenge. Do not allow someone else's lack of self-control to become your burden. Walk away when walking away protects your soul. Stay silent when silence speaks louder than words. Smile when others expect anger. Grow when others expect revenge. Ignore what does not deserve your attention. Because attention is life. Where your attention goes, your life follows. So give it wisely. Give it to your family. Give it to your purpose. Give it to learning. Give it to becoming healthier. Give it to building a life that reflects your values instead of reacting to other people's opinions. Years from now, no one will remember the argument you won. But they will remember the character you showed. More importantly, you will remember it. Every ignored insult is a victory over your ego. Every peaceful response is a victory over anger. Every disciplined decision is another step toward becoming the person you admire. That is the power of ignoring. It is not weakness. It is wisdom. It is not fear. It is freedom. It is not giving up. It is choosing yourself over chaos. And once you master that choice, you'll discover something extraordinary. Nothing outside of you has the power to destroy the peace you've built within. If this message spoke to you, let us know in the comments. What is one thing you're choosing to ignore from today forward? Your story might inspire someone else who needs to hear it. If you found value in this video, don't forget to like, share it with someone who needs this reminder, and subscribe to Stoic Ascension for more powerful lessons on Stoicism, self-discipline, and inner strength. Until next time, protect your peace, guard your mind, and remember. The strongest person in the room is often the one who no longer feels the need to react.